3, 2.
Hey everybody, I'm live. It's John Hope Bryant, founder, chairman, and CEO of Operation Hope, Bryant Group Ventures, the Promise Homes Company, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's lovely to be able to say et cetera, et cetera, by the way. That means I'm doing a lot of stuff. 40 companies, 40 organizations, companies, entities created by me since I was born at Good Samaritan Hospital. Well, actually, that's not true, because I had 100 companies that failed when I was between age 10 and age 20. But yeah, that's what's cooking right now. And that stuff came from South Central LA, Compton, California, Good Samaritan Hospital, in the hood, D-A-H-O-O-D, which means if I came from nothing and built something, you can do it too. That's what that means. So the first thing I'm going to do, first of all, if you haven't bought this book, everybody, go get it. This is the memo. It debuted at #1, new release for Amazon bestseller in budget and management. It's the only budget and management book on money. It doesn't talk about budgeting or management or money. And folks who've got it, look at the reviews on Amazon. Folks who've got it have said it's changing the way they think. And it's about your mental mindset, updating your mental mindset, your software. By the way, those who don't see me commenting is because Jamie is producing this professionally today, but I will be responding to your comments when I get settled a little later. Go get the book. It's in audio version, digital version, DVD version, although that one's almost selling out, hardcover, and I'll make them available on the moon for you if you need it. This video is provocative because it says, new black high-tech billionaires, question mark. No is the answer. No, unfortunately they don't exist. And it's really upsetting me. I saw a piece last night about how we had 4, this is on my page on John Hope Bryant Live, so check it out. There's a story about how 4 black Fortune 500 CEOs a dozen years ago has now turned into 3 black Fortune 500 CEOs today. Because one of those CEOs is resigning next year, the CEO of American Express, who's been there forever. And we can't somehow get more black CEOs, and I'm encouraging Latino CEOs and women CEOs, by the way, and others from diverse backgrounds to become CEOs of big companies. But we got to make smart sexy, folks. We've been making dumb sexy for too long. We've dumbed down and celebrated it. But the tech billionaire piece really upset me because this is the new gold rush. The internet is the new gold rush, and we're not participating in it. I posted it on my page. 9 new tech billionaires. None of them are household names. None of them are names you remember. I don't mean they make like $1 billion in $1. I mean we're talking about some of these folks are like $20 billion in net worth, and it's maybe you'll know that, like the guy who created What's Up. I mean, you won't know him, but you know the company, or the lady who created, or the guy who created WeWorkspace. But most of these are companies or technologies you've never heard of, and the people you never heard of, they could walk right down the street next to you. You wouldn't know who they were, but they could buy and sell most of the cities that they're walking through. But what are we doing? What are people of color doing? We're going to the party. We're going to the club. We want to be some rap star who's going to have 3 hits and then be walked off the stage. We don't even own our content. We don't own our publishing. Don't own our writing rights. What did Quincy Jones say to me? Quincy says, if you don't own your music, if you don't own music rights, publishing rights, or writing rights, you're actually not in the music business. You're just a temporary performer. So I'm tired of us just rocking the mic, swinging the bat, bouncing the ball, and getting excited about those who are on the court. I want you to sit next to me, next to Tony Ressler, the CEO of, you just recorded yourself there for a minute, Jamie. You're always trying to get in the limelight. The CEO of, Tony Ressler, who is a big businessman and one of my partners in another business of mine and a member of Operation Hope. You don't know that name properly, but a billionaire. And we're sitting on the 5th row of the Atlanta Hawks game, ordering hot dogs like everybody else. He's sitting there on his I think he used a BlackBerry, sending signals to whomever, and I'm noting the Megatron, the big monitors changing. I'm noticing that the cheerleaders are either doing more or doing less, because he's organizing the whole thing of the game on his phone as he's directing people in his office of what should happen because Tony Ressler owns the team. So we're focusing on the basketball player who makes, God bless him, $3 million, $5 million a year, who is cashing a check, versus focusing on Tony Ressler, who can afford to pay 12 or 15 guys $3 to $5 to $10 million a year out of his disposable income, who is cashing checks. Do you want to just settle for writing checks, or cashing checks, I'm sorry, Tony is writing checks, or do you want to be the guy or the woman who's writing checks? There's a difference in the mentality. Do you want to just be cashing checks? Nothing wrong with that. Working for somebody else, nothing wrong with that. Or do you want to have a mentality of writing checks? So there are no black tech billionaires. And a lot of these folks can buy and sell the black billionaires that we have in entertainment and sports several times over. I love Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey is amazing. She's brilliant. But even she, I think, would admit that Bill Gates' money would swamp her money in a multiple. We can't just be obsessing about having a black mayor or a black president even. We need a black Bill Gates. We need a black Steve Jobs. We need to create some jobs. What did Van Jones say? The best way to stop a bullet is a job. Okay, so that's my riff. Let me get that out of my system. So go to my page, read those 2 articles, comment on them about the need for increased civil rights in our communities. Let me get to the topic of today's video. This is on the Memo Masterclass. So this is a big reveal, and we're going to do this, unpack this between now and January. Big data we're issuing through the Hope Research Institute, where we're overlaying credit scores with crime data from the FBI, from educational data, socioeconomic data, jobs data, small business and entrepreneurship data, zip code data, right down to zip codes in your neighborhood, and proving my theory that 700 credit score neighborhoods don't riot. You never seen a riot in a 700 credit score community in America's history. Only 500 credit score neighborhoods riot. And in a 500 credit score neighborhood, I put this in the memo, go get the book, you'll see a check casher, next to a payday loan lender, next to a renter-owned store, next to a title lender, next to a liquor store. And then you got a church down the street to try to make you feel better and less depressed about everything I just mentioned. But that group of companies, not including the church, is $1 trillion industry, almost $1 trillion, that is in the business of separating you from your wallet. Because as Andrew Young said, to live in a system of free enterprise and not to understand the rules of free enterprise must be the very definition of slavery. That's Ambassador Andrew Young, Dr. King's right arm in the civil rights movement. We now call it the civil rights movement. So I'm about to give you some big data for Atlanta. Meanwhile, I was told by my staff, don't be an idiot, John, promote the book tour coming up. So this is Saturday. This is part of the national book tour. This is Saturday, the November 18th here at the Barnes & Noble Cumberland Mall, 2952 Cobb Parkway, delivering the Memo Masterclass Tour. That's 1 p.m. to 4, I think. 1 p.m. Don't show up at 4 o'clock. Ask me to sign your book. I will not. I will not. Okay? From 1 p.m., that means CP time. Some of you guys know what that means. That means 1:15 for you. But 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. I should tell you it's 1 to 2, so you show up on time. At the Cumberland Mall, it's a meet and greet and a book signing with me. I hope you come, in all seriousness, come out and join me. It's a part of the National Book Tour. It's my first public event in Atlanta. And you can find information on this also on the John O'Brien live page and on the Memo page on Facebook. Now, data for Atlanta. Anybody can find this data. This is credit score data. It's publicly available records. It's zip code data. You just need to know where to look. Credit scores in America have an average credit score of 700. I'm going to give you some big data around why blacks don't succeed. It has nothing to do with what you think. I'm going to do that in another video. But today, Atlanta, which is one of the fastest growing cities in America, one of the 20 largest metropolitan areas for economic growth, one of the biggest areas for job growth. Atlanta's booming. Atlanta is LA 30 years ago. Atlanta's just booming. How do you know? Can't get home or get to work because the traffic's killing you. And that wasn't the case 7 years ago. Everybody named Mama seems to be moving to Atlanta. So with all this economic activity in Atlanta, why is the credit score in downtown Atlanta 645? Now, 645 is not a bad credit score, but it should be 700. It should be 720. So you've got people who didn't get the memo on money, who are making a lot of money, and when your outflow exceeds your inflow, your overhead will be your downfall. Did you get that? When your outflow exceeds your inflow, then your overhead will be your downfall. Or put another way, if you make $1 and spend $1.50, the more money you make, the broker you get. Okay? So you have a lot of people in Atlanta flossing, living beyond their means, trying to be something they're not, never got the memo on money, never got the memo on financial literacy, dressing fine, going to wonderful restaurants, and spending every dime they have. And their credit score is suffering because of that, and they're renting places downtown. They should be trying to buy a place down near the freeway or something. They should be trying to buy a place hood adjacent, like next to the hood. I have no idea what that is, but I'm turning it off. They should be trying to buy a place that's the crappiest place on the best block and buying it and rehabbing it and renting it. Do that 3 times. You got a hedge fund against poverty, and you've got your retirement. And I don't mean buying hundreds of thousands of dollars of value place. I mean buying a place for 15 grand and rehabbing it and renting. And all these urban neighborhoods will flip, by the way. They're just going to go up in value. But no, we want to go floss and buy someplace downtown. Rent someplace downtown and give some guy, an owner like me, who owns that real estate, give somebody $2,000 a month of your money. Just choking when I hear that. Which means you're opening a window and throwing $24,000 a year out the window that benefits you not one bit. Your ego has been benefited, so you're funding money that you don't have on things you can't afford to impress people you don't know about things that don't matter. So you make $50,000 a year, but you're spending $25,000 a year of that, $24,000 on rent, versus going to buy a place in a place that's less glossy that you own, paying $1,000 a month in rent in a mortgage, right off the payment off of your taxes, which means you get that money back through called mortgage deduction or mortgage interest, unless these folks change the tax bill in Washington, which is a whole other conversation. Watch my videos I did on the tax bill last week on this page that I did on Bloomberg and MSNBC. Ali Velshi and Stephanie Rule's show I did on Saturday, talk about the tax bill. So you need to buy a place in the hood or the hood adjacent. If you don't know what the hood means, find somebody who's black, have them translate it for you, and buy a place in an underserved neighborhood, if that sounds better, and write off the mortgage interest and benefit from the appreciation, the value increases of that property, and become an owner. Now, credit scores in Atlanta about 645. I'm going to get racial here for a moment just to make the point. So now you have folks who decided to move north of Atlanta to a place called Forsyth County. Forsyth County is a majority wealthy neighborhood. And unfortunately, it's also a majority white neighborhood, which unfortunately is a correlation in this particular case. Their credit score is about 720, as I recall, but it's above 700. Now that's 30 minutes north of Atlanta. You go 30 minutes south of Atlanta, not even 30 minutes, 20 minutes to a place called Conyers, I believe is the county. No, Henry County. Henry County. I don't get the county right. You're wrong. You guys may tell me off. It's Henry County. And Henry County, not a good things going on there. A lot of nice people who live there. People in Henry County, don't get upset with me, okay? It's just the facts. There's a lot of folks who used to be in public housing, used to be in the hood, who were, for whatever reason, encouraged to move to Henry County. I don't know why. But that affected the middle-class stability of Henry County, and the credit score started going lower, folks who didn't get the memo. Good people, hard-working people, but didn't get the memo. Credit score there is about 603. I think it's about right, 603. You have about 91 crimes per 10,000 people in Forsyth County, and about 500, and if I get this number right, 511 crimes per 10,000 in Henry County. Get that? So the crime went up 5 times as the credit score went down 100 points. Or put another way, the credit score went up 100 points north of Atlanta and 100 points south of Atlanta, or in 30 minutes went from 700 and change to 600 and change, and all the economics dived in the place where it went down. Small business startups really not defaulted, but they stalled. Small business and entrepreneurship stalled. Higher education stalled. GDP stalled. Hope became depressed. Crime became under house arrest or lost house arrest and increased. Crime went up. Homicides went up. Drug dealing went up. People's depression went up. All the negative things in the place where the credit scores went down, all the negative things went up. The job creation went down in that county. So it wasn't about black, white, red, brown, and yellow race. It's about having some more green. The new colors, ladies and gentlemen, the new color is green. Why is this important? Because America has always been saved by the least of these God's children. Always. 100 years ago, it was so-called poor immigrants that saved America. Jamie and I doing an episode we did in Harlem on where does entrepreneurship come from. It doesn't come from where you think. Most of these so-called poor immigrants are creating most of the entrepreneurship and small business creation and the innovation in this country. Facebook created by an immigrant. Tulsa by an immigrant. Steve Jobs, by the way, father was from Jordan. I think it was Jordan. No, not Jordan. Syria. And an immigrant. I mean, what would happen if, that's a whole, if it wasn't for Steve Jobs' father giving him away to be adopted in Silicon Valley, we'd all be using rock, paper, scissors. We have degraded and demeaned immigrants. The reality is that 9 out of 10 job deaths in the last 10 years was a result, this is Richard Edelman's quote, not mine, his stats from our annual meeting. Go back and watch that video from our annual meeting earlier this year. That 9 out of 10 job deaths was because of automation, not immigration. So watch Jamie's newest episode of Delivering the Memo. Go subscribe to Delivering the Memo. It's free here on Facebook. We have a couple episodes coming out that will be pretty sexy on that platform. It's our streaming episodic series, Delivering the Memo, based on this book. Go understand this new technology. We're using credit scores to neutralize race, neutralize politics, neutralize partisanship, neutralize fights between black and white and urban and rural and religion. And let's talk about something that's a math equation, something you can move. A needle you can move. Operation Hope is moving credit scores 120 points in 24 months through our Hope Inside locations. Lance Trigg's work with his team. Because nothing changes your life more than God or love than moving your credit score 120 points. So I'm out. Join me Saturday here, Cumberland Mall. You can RSVP, Jamie, where on the Facebook page? Jamie, come here. No, I'm not going to say anything. Jamie's got a big mouth. Come on, I know you got a warrant, so don't tell me your real name. No, tell them where to go.
For delivering the memo, or
don't start drooling now.
Facebook.
The event on Saturday. You
Yeah,
don't know
that's at Barnes & Noble's,
you don't know where the event
Mall.
is, you're going to be fired.
You can find it on John Hope Bryant Live.
He does not know where the event is.
I just told you, Barnes & Noble's, Cumberland Mall.
Oh, it's good. Good save. All right.
I'm out.
Join us Saturday. It's going to be fun. Don't show up late. I will not sign your book. All right. Love you. I'm out. Have a great day. I'll comment later.